This is the reason why. If you are given a midpoint, okay, what's the justification that you can use to say two segments are congruent? What's its justification? Definition of midpoint. I want you to highlight segment bisector. Okay, what does a segment bisector give you? You're supposed to look for what? Two equal segments, and what's the justification? Definition of segment bisector. So do you remember how we had reflexive? How we had vertical angles are congruent? This is what you're going to be writing for those justifications. All right. Then we had perpendicular bisector. That's a huge one because that's going to give you two. What are you supposed to look for? Perpendicular lines which are right angles and two equal segments. And what's the reason? Definition of perpendicular bisector. Then there's vertical angles. I want you to highlight vertical angles. And then I want you to, and we already did that one, look at the angle bisector. What if you're given an angle bisector, what are you supposed to look for? Two congruent angles. And what will the reason be? Definition of angle bisector. All right, then I want you to look at alternate interior, alternate exterior, corresponding, same side. I want all those marked. Because what are you supposed to look for? Two equal angles, and those reasons vary. If lines are parallel, if lines parallel, corresponding angles are congruent. If lines parallel, alternate exterior angles are congruent. All right, so let's look at this one. All right. Let's see. So here we go. We've got if HW is perpendicular to SO, we're supposed to show those congruent. That is not going to be enough information. So here we go. If it's going to say given, that's going to be your given, the show is going to say proof. Right? So you are going to draw a picture. And it says if HW bisects SO. What does bisect mean? What does bisect mean? To divide into two equal parts. What's being bisected? HW or SO? Okay, so if we're cutting, which one's the scissors? HW is doing the cutting, SO is being the cut. So if HW bisects this segment down here, what can you mark? What's congruent? SW is congruent to OW. You will mark that. What told you this? This did. They're telling you that HS is congruent to HO. They just told you that. Now, notice your given is done. What else can you pick up from this picture? Okay, angle H has two angles there. Okay, what tells you that this angle is equal to that angle? These two sides? Okay, it's not those angles, but which angles? If you have, look at the big triangle. If you have these two sides congruent, which angles are actually congruent? S and O. All right, so that was unbelievable as far as, yes, that is true. You can get angle S congruent to angle O, at which point, what is your statement? Thank you. What are your statements? What is the congruence of over here? Side angle side. Is there something else you could have done? Something else you saw? Something else you could have done. What is it? Did they give us perpendicular? No. So we can't, it looks like a right angle, but we can't say that. But what can we pick off the picture? Guaranteed. Steph? You did this on your own. I heard it. Did you say that, Jennifer? Okay, where's the reflexive? Shared side. Where is it? Right. You could have marked HW. If you didn't see this S and O, what would this have been? It wouldn't have been side, angle, side. What would it be? Side, side, side. So we're going to go with the side, angle, side because the side, side, side is easier. So side, angle, side. So now you have to pick a side. HS, we'll start with HS, is congruent to HO. How do you know this? What told you this? Given. It was given, definitely. Okay. So now we need an angle. So we have angle. Now, when you draw your picture on your paper, if you want to label this 1 and you want to label this 2, you're more than welcome to. And then you don't have to use 3 letters. Do I have to use 3 letters anyway if there's only one angle here? Why is angle S congruent to angle O? And we didn't mark this on your terms. If 2 sides of triangle equal, opposite angles are equal. All right, we've got one pair of sides, we've got one pair of angles. What's my other pair of sides, Samantha? SW is congruent to. And what told us that? Okay, we can't say given. To say given, it literally has to be in this form where there's a congruent symbol. This is what told us that. Okay? That is what told us that. So this is going, so if you're told that you had that you bisected a segment, this is where your geometry terms comes into play. What's the reason? You've been being told that you the segments being bisected, you're supposed to look for 2 equal segments, which you did, and what is your justification? Definition of what? Segment bisector. Where did we get that? Definition of segment bisector. All 3 of these then tell us that triangle HWS is congruent to triangle HWO. Why? Because of side, angle, side. So we were told that we had that this HW bisected OS, so this is not given. We know this because the definition of bisector that we were given. So this is how it changes. The diagrams are not marked for you. You must mark them. Try another one. We're being told that L is the midpoint of both PN and AE. So this is our given. And we're going to show that triangle PLE is congruent to triangle NLA. So what do you know about a midpoint? What should you look for, Brittany? What does a midpoint be, Brittany?
So there's something the 2 equal.
So name it 2 equal parts. Okay, it's PE with that midpoint.
PL.
Yes. PL and
L. Oh, no. I'm sorry. NL.
NL, all right? PN. So now we're going to look at, I'm going to trace it, we're going to look at AE. L is a midpoint, so what do we know there? What equal segments do we have, Leslie? If L's the midpoint, what do you have? No, well, we do have that. Okay, so we do have vertical angles, we'll go ahead and mark those. But let's work with the midpoint of AE. If we have a midpoint of AE, Eric, what are you going to have? EL is going to be congruent to AL because a midpoint separates the second into equal pieces. So what is this combo? Side, angle, side. So you've got to justify now. EL is congruent to, since I started with P, I've got to start with N. And that was not given, but told us this definition of midpoint. All right, we need our angles. Now, if you don't want to use 3 letters, you can make that 1, you can make that 2, because you are drawing a diagram on every problem, right? Angle 1 congruent to angle 2, y. Vertical angles are congruent. Then we mark EL is congruent to AL, y. But told us that definition of midpoint. So from here, what are we going to have? If we say triangle PLE, then we must say it's congruent to triangle NLA. What's the reason? Side, angle, side. So what I'm going to do is second period, I'm going to start with this set of notes. So you will have, I'm going to put 2 sets of notes online. So you'll have lots to look at and lots to